references and adult themes.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Happy Monday. Welcome to Tonightly. I am Tom Ballard. A huge show for you tonight. We bring you stand-up comedy from the genius that is Zoe Coombs Marr, everyone. It's gonna be good. Whoa. Big news weekend, guys. Big weekend news. Dramatic scenes surrounding the story that everybody's talking about and that could seriously affect Australia as we know it.
In breaking news this morning, a number of Coles stores are closed today.
That's right, people. Yesterday, some Coles stores were closed for a bit. Early morning shoppers were told a nationwide error meant the supermarket were unable to process sales. And I got to tell you, it had a devastating impact.
Looking forward to a Sunday roast, and that happens.
Think of the roast man, everyone! Please donate now to the relief fund for devastated roast man via the link below. Dig deep, everyone. Dig deep for roast man. Also, that was that whole lib spill thing.
Malcolm Turnbull is trying desperately to prevent a leadership challenge over the government's energy policy.
Senior ministers are rallying around Turnbull, rejecting claims that Peter Dutton is planning to challenge him for the leadership.
Peter Dutton could be the next prime minister. Okay, that was too much. Get that away from me. Peter Dutton! The Queensland cop guy is always in the background, unnervingly staring off into the middle distance. Peter Dutton, the guy who always looks like he's thinking about whether to put your legs in the same barrel as your arms. Peter Dutton, whose middle name is Craig? Really? Can't have a Prime Minister with a middle name Craig. No offence to Craigs, but... No, offence to Craigs, actually. Crazy times. One theory is that for Dutton, challenging Malcolm Turnbull might give him a boost in his own seat at the next election, a boost that he sorely needs. He holds his seat of Dixon by a tiny margin. He won the 2016 election with just 51.6% of the vote. To put that 1.6% into perspective, that is less than 3,000 votes. That is one slim margin.
How slim is it?
How slim is it? It's so slim it's going out with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm telling you, this margin's so slim, Apple want it for the new iPhone. It's so slim, Slim Dusty is now just called Dusty because he doesn't seem slim anymore in comparison. Can you believe I'm about to lose my job? Hey, at least I'm not losing it to Peter Dutton. It could be worse. I would watch that show. The ABC were out there in Dutton's seat of Dixon this morning, interviewing voters on the street about what they think of Craig becoming the next PM, and the reviews were raving.
I don't particularly like him. I don't think he's a personable person.
Yeah, Peter Dutton's not a personable person, he's person-ish. And opinions out there were divided. This lady didn't even agree with herself.
I think he'd do well, but I don't think he would.
OK? Not sure how that works. A bunch of cabinet ministers were out fronting the media today just to let us know that everything was going to be fine.
I believe that the Cabinet is 100% behind Malcolm Turnbull, including Peter Dutton.
Is Malcolm Turnbull's leadership under threat?
No.
No! I feel reassured by that, I tell you. That right there is the face of stable government. But then, team, you say Malcolm Turnbull's leadership isn't under threat. What makes you so certain?
What makes you say it? What makes you so certain?
Oh, because he's been voted in as Prime Minister, he's doing an outstanding job and he'll continue to be Prime Minister.
Yep, that's exactly how Australian politics works. You become Prime Minister and then you continue to be Prime Minister. That's how it works, right, Tony Abbott?
No.
OK. I find this whole leadership thing very confusing, but if there's one person who understands the intricacies of bitching, betrayal and infighting, it is a 16-year-old girl. So we now turn to Bridie Kamahl, who joins us from Year 11. Hello, Bridie.
Hi.
Hi. So, can you explain the current political situation for us?
Federally or at Inglewood Girls?
Obviously federally.
Okay, oh my God, it's so simple. It's like this. So, you know Hannah B?
No.
Oh, lucky you. Okay, so Malcolm Turnbull is like Hannah B, right? She wanted to be the leader of our group for ages because then she gets to make all the important decisions, right? And she finally got there and everyone was so happy for her and we're like, yeah, go Hannah B / Malcolm Turnbull, but like snort, right? She gets the position and she literally does nothing.
Okay, but Hannah B / Malcolm Turnbull might have been ineffectual, but they still have their supporters.
Yeah, because they're both rich. Hannah B throws like lavish house parties and I assume he does as well. But they give in so easily when pressure hits. It's so annoying. Like, Malcolm, don't change your mind on emissions targets to keep your frenemies happy. Hannah B, don't change the theme of the formal just because Hannah W wants to wear a Grecian dress. We already voted on the theme and it's under the sea.
It's a good theme. Now, so Malcolm Turnbull is Hannah B. Where does Peter Dutton come into this?
He's obviously Hannah T.
How many Hannahs are there?
Tom, there is an infinite supply of Hannahs.
Okay, why is Peter Dutton like Hannah T?
Oh my God, don't you know anything? Aren't you supposed to be smart? You're like 40 years old.
Hey!
Okay, Hannah T is like Peter Dutton because she's not super popular. Lots of people actually think she's really mean and she keeps sending the new kids to detention. And her middle name is Craig.
What?
Like, you can't be a leader with the name Craig, but that's beside the point.
That's beside the point, yeah.
Hannah T's worried that she's going to be dropped from the group, right? It's not a secret that everyone hates her, but she knows that if she's a leader of the most popular group at school, then there's no way that she can be kicked out. And it is better to have a leader that you're scared of than one that you're bored by. That's why Gabby / Bill Shorten will never be in charge.
Okay. That is way too bad for Gabby. All right. Bridie, if Peter Dutton actually wins leadership, then this will be the 6th Prime Minister we've had in 11 years. You've got Kevin, Julia, Kevin, Tony, Malcolm, and now Peter?
That's nothing. In the last 2 years at Inglewood High alone, we've had Hannah B, Hannah S, Claire with an I who didn't even last a term, Amanda and Nikki who were together, Claire without an I, and Beck who was an actual travesty.
Wow. What did Beck do?
Beck made out with Mitchell even though she knew full well that Mitchell asked me to formal.
Oh my God, no way.
Yes, way. Okay, I'm not even joking. So obviously I got her kicked out of the group.
Wow. Was that the only leadership spill you've caused?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I once got this like old dude fired from his own TV show.
Oh, that's really mean. You know, I was recently fired from my own TV show.
I know.
And it's not
Coming up on Tonightly with Bridie Connor, some actually interesting content. Stay tuned.
Oh, please don't.
#Tonightly spill.
No! Do not encourage her. Someone who's keen for a Dutton lib spill is former lib spill victim Tony Abbott, seen here trying to look as spooky as his hero Peter Dutton. Now, Abbott reportedly told a Liberal students' event on Saturday that he looked forward to a Dutton government, but when quizzed by reporters, he declined to speculate on Peter Dutton's leadership ambitions. So either Tony Abbott is looking forward to a government led by Peter Dutton, or he was trying to impress the young Liberal students by inventing some cool new slang, you know? Yeah, the government's totally Dutton, you guys, yeah! It's fetch, it's on fleek, it's Gucci, it's Dutton-as. Look at me, I'm Dutton, y'all, yeah! I'm Dutton it up!
I'm embarrassed for you and by you.
I do not like her. If you want more comedy opportunities, go to Channel 10, young lady. So, in the debate between price and emissions and this whole thing, who actually won?
The Prime Minister has dumped plans to legislate an emissions reduction target as part of the government's energy policy.
I want to say this, Mr Speaker. What we have demonstrated is a commitment to bringing electricity prices down. We're bringing electricity prices down. We've started to turn the corner on electricity prices.
OK, did everyone get that? The prices are going down. And in case you couldn't follow that, Liberal MP Anne Siboulis in the background there, helpfully pointing down exactly what direction the prices will go. Either that, or that she was shooting the prices like a gang. Brah, 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 brah! She'd done those prices. Fuck yeah! Now, the government says they're going to slash electricity prices by taking a big stick to electricity companies. And personally, I just hope that stick isn't made of wood.
More than 70 bushfires are burning across New South Wales, with 30 uncontained. Authorities say better conditions in the Port Stephens region have allowed crews to consolidate containment lines in the Salt Ash area in the state's far north.
Yeah, it's the middle of winter and the entire state of New South Wales is on fire! And our government has removed all climate change targets from energy policy. Now, if you're flammable like me, that might make you feel a little concerned. But don't worry, today the government is here to put your mind at ease.
A government message on the NEG. With record high temperatures every month this year and bushfires in winter becoming the norm, there's never been a more important time to create a policy on climate action. So what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Instead, we're changing the NEG from the National Energy Guarantee to the non-existent government policy on climate change. There's never been a more important time to look like you're doing something about climate change. That's why today we removed our emissions reductions target. It's not quite removing our actual emissions, but it sure sounds similar. We are aware that coal-fired power plants are responsible for 72% of the greenhouse gases from the electricity sector. But that's only the coal we've burned so far. There's new coal, and we haven't even tried burning that to see if it does emissions as well. This government is committed to building more coal power stations. It's just hard to find a building site with Australia being on fire all the time. And I must stress, I have absolutely no idea what's causing all this fire. The NEG will fix more than just emissions. It's also about reliability. Years ago, you didn't know when there would be a bushfire, and now they happen all the time. And that's fire you can depend on. I know what you're thinking, that bushfires in winter aren't natural. But winter is so warm now that it's not winter, so just forget about it. Rather than saving the planet, we're focused on saving you money. With the NEG reducing electricity costs, you'll save $416 a year. So enjoy these savings while you can, because the road warriors who wander the scorched earth in a few decades from now won't recognise money.
Now, of course, millions of people around the world are currently in mourning. After last week, we got word that Tonightly won't be returning post-September 7th. They want to take ABC comedy in a new direction, but let me assure you, the channel remains committed to bringing you as many Spicks and Specks repeats as humanly possible. That is our promise to you. Now, we're going to do cool things before we go, though. We are fully mixing it up. This Thursday night, returning to the hosting chair will be the brilliant Bridie and Greta Lee Jackson. On Wednesday night, getting into the hosting chair for the first time will be Greg Larson and Nina Bloody Oyama. Pretty good. Tomorrow night, I'll be hosting. Fair enough, but my musical guest will be Courtney Bloody Barnett. That's good stuff. The other cool thing about not being renewed is we've made a brand new segment called Why the Fuck Not? Why the fuck not? We want to do things because why the fuck not? If you want to pitch us an idea for us to make on television, send an email to the address you see on screen and we may give it a go. It can be anything. I've got a few suggestions already. Harrison got in touch, would like to see me eat a banana with the skin on. Did you watch that? Yeah. Liars, okay. Dean says hire a skywriter to do a Tonightly show banner with a massive cock and balls floating proudly up in the sky. That could be fun. Could you please do a show with everyone in blackface, even the audience? It would be cool and fun for everyone. No, we're not Chris Lilly. Okay, so... you can ask for anything. Anything in the whole world. Just, like, think a random idea. Like, you could ask for beloved Australian entertainer Kamahl to recite Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address of 1863. That's just a suggestion. You want to do that? OK, yeah, let's do that one. To now recite the 272 words that changed America forever, please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kamahl.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you.
Kamahl, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamahl. That was beautiful. Thank you very much for doing it on our program. Just out of interest, what did you think when you heard the news that Tonightly was cancelled?
What, your show's cancelled?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Why are people so unkind?
Kamahl, everybody!
Thank you.
Moving on, let's talk about millennials, the most punchable generation. I should know, I am one. Yuck. Wherever you find a millennial, you usually find chaos. They ruin everything. Millennials have been blamed for killing off the diamond industry, have caused a drop in the sale of potatoes. Even the restaurant chain Hooters had to close a number of locations because millennials don't like boobs very much. Makes sense, I'm a millennial. I'm more of an arse man. No. Let's all just settle down. There's even been this chilling announcement.
It's one of the more polarising condiments. I love mayo, but mayo has reportedly been killed off by millennials.
Yes. Take that, mayonnaise! I don't really like mayonnaise. I'm more of an arse man. Now, the question is, how much damage are these bloody millennials doing? Well, Greta Lee Jackson investigates in our appropriately titled segment, Investigates Lee.
Mass murder, genocide, avocados. What do these things have in common, and who's behind it? The answer will terrify you. A radicalised new hate group intent on destroying life as we know it. Millennials. Oh God, how am I going to get out of here alive? Look everyone, palm oil free potato chips.
Millennials, the youthful, ethically sourced extremists slowly murdering everything we love.
The humble bookstore on the millennials' kill list, along with soap, oil, napkins, clothing stores, department stores and salad bars. They're the new deadly plague, except this time iPhones are the rats and millennials are the giant narcissistic fleas.
Dare to venture to where Europe used to be, and you'll now be met by a desolate wasteland populated by warring tribes of baristas. To understand more about this group that single-handedly razed Europe to the ground, I sat down with an academic with a trustworthy beard.
So tell me more about this alarming new trend.
Well, before the 1990s, there wasn't a single case of a millennial existing.
So they were in hiding?
No, they just hadn't been born yet. Then after 1990, you see a dramatic increase in the number of millennials.
Oh, so it was a coordinated, synchronised attack?
No, that's just how time works.
What else can millennials do with this time weapon?
Well, not much. They'll just get older, and then they'll look down on the next generation that's coming after them, just like every generation always has done. It's a pattern as old as time itself.
Yeah, but millennials are the worst ones. That's why we're doing a whole program about them. They did Instagram.
Yeah, but that's not quite as bad as what the kids in the 60s were doing. I mean, they spent years doing hard drugs.
That's a great idea. So how do we wean millennials off selfies and onto acid?
I don't think anyone it's a bad idea outright.
Once a millennial has cocooned itself in HEX debt, it emerges from university almost fully grown, and then, disguising itself as an adult, gets a job and integrates, trying to pass itself off as a genuine member of society. To expose more of their hateful agenda, I headed to their millennial training camp, cleverly disguised as a popular beach.
You and your extremist friends often complain that boomers had a free education and your generation didn't. Is that correct?
Yeah.
They also had lower life expectancy and fewer rights for women. You can't have it both ways. Do you own a house?
No.
So what have you got against supporting the poor real estate agents who are doing it tough?
They think they're poor. They should see our bank accounts. We're never going to be able to own a house.
So you are only thinking about yourselves. Why are you destroying bar soap? I mean, surely you're going to need it to wash all the blood off your hands. Do you own a home?
No, I live with my mum and dad.
The headlines are true.
Just as I thought, millennials are so lazy and entitled, they even refuse to chew.
These silent background killers can be difficult to spot, sort of like a generational asbestos. So here are the telltale signs to keep you safe.
The typical millennial is clad in clashing prints and constantly holding a reusable cup filled with ethically sourced fair trade coffee. Then there's the electronic device and a second electronic device stored in what's known as a backpack. Note the clear abhorrence to traditional values and large percentage of overall soy.
Now that we've armed you with that entirely accurate information, the only hope of fighting back is to embrace solid, reliable technology that's practically obsolete to ward off our fear of... change. I'm Bridie Jackson, reporting for Tonightly Investigatesly. Shh. Okay, listen.
Best show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival and was a nominee for the Edinburgh Comedy Award. You can catch her this week at the Darwin Festival and Sydney's Yak Festival in November. Please welcome the hilarious Zoe Coombs Marr.
Hey, what's up, cunts? Cervixes is the answer to that question. Cervixes. Yeah, that's what's up there. Yeah, not always. Let's not be reductive or transphobic about it, but often that is what's up there. Yeah? Ladies know what I'm talking about. Eh? This guy knows what I'm talking about. Eh? He knows what he doesn't want to know. Just a bit of crowd work. So, it's Tom, right? I'll see if I can work it into a callback for you later. I'm very good. So, I am a lesbian. I know. What? Shocking. Sorry, ladies. It's a bit of a slow burn, that one. That's what she said. Doesn't make any sense. I am a lesbian. If you don't know too much about us, we are just like normal people. Only if you were to say to me, "Hey, Zoe, what have you been up to?" I might say, "Oh, about here." Hey! They did tell me not to do that one, so maybe we have to cut it out. But Do we have any straight people in tonight? Yeah? You're straight people. You're weird, aren't you? You're weird. No, I love straight people. I'm joking. I love straight people. I love your culture. It's great. I've seen all your movies. I don't understand it all your funny kind of customs and things. But, like, straight people, you seem to have normalised this idea somewhat. But to my people, the idea that sex and babies are in any way connected is absurd. Like, it's not even in the same universe. The idea that one leads to the other is like going, oh, fingered this girl, now we've got this Shetland pony. This is weird. Or like, oh, suck this guy's dick, now we have this pavlova. It's weird, straight people. Oh, you're fascinating. No, but I love watching straight people. I love observing you out in your natural habitat, the entire world. You're so comfortable, it's weird. But I love watching couples. I was watching a straight couple the other day, one of my favourite types of straight couples. I was in Surrey Hills, I know, fancy. And I was watching one of those, the activewear couples. Oh, they are the best. Like, she's tiny, he's massive. What happened? Like, did they have a great time at a carnival once and go, let's turn ourselves into a funhouse mirror? But they were amazing. Like, he was huge, this guy. He had all her protein. And she was minuscule. She looked like she only just had enough energy to say, it's a cavoodle. It's a cavoodle. Her name's Lululemon. It's so embarrassing because for ages we were saying Lululemon. I was saying Lululemon. I was saying Lululemon for ages. Was anyone else? I know I'm not alone. Yeah, you, Lululemon. Lululemon. Why would it be Lululemon? That's ridiculous. That's like thinking that pie face is actually called Piaface. I do have a friend who says Piaface. My friend Candice. Sorry, I mean Candice. I love watching these straight people, and so she was tiny, he was massive, this guy. It was like, he was enormous, like a proper bodybuilder, you know, when they're all knotted and can't move your legs independently of each other, and he was all kind of brown and glazed, so he looked like a brioche. How much do those guys look like a brioche? They look exactly like a brioche. Every time she looks at him, she must be like, brioche. And you know she can't eat carbs. It's cruel. Why are you doing it to yourself? But I should point out, I should have said this before, I am allowed to make jokes about straight people because my parents are straight. So I actually went on Ancestry.com and it turns out I come from a long line of straight people. Isn't that amazing? All the way back. It's incredible. So you can't tell by looking at me, but I am mostly straight. Genetically. Non-practising. But I know all about your funny foods you like to eat and, you know, I can do the accent. I won't, though, because it's appropriation. So... Actually, that voice from before, it's a cavoodle, the straight girl voice, that's not okay, is it? That's not all right. It's fun. The best thing to say is, Emily, I don't want to slut-shame you, but you're a slut and you should be ashamed. What joy! I love that. It's incredible. But no, it's not all right. Like, straight women, that's punching down, isn't it? That's punching down. No one has it harder than straight women. Oh, tension. No one does. You've got straight women, you're incredible. You've got all the same problems as normal women. Flipped it. But with the dating men thing, and I don't know how you do it, nothing against you guys individually, but I can't even tell men apart. I can't, honestly, I can't. I see you all looking at me like, yes, you can. Nah, fellas, all I see is a bunch of paper plates with smiley faces drawn on it. No idea. I saw that movie Dunkirk. I had no idea what was going on. No idea. Face Off didn't make sense at all. But I'm joking. I can tell you apart, you know. I love men, you know. Some guys get very like, oh, it's a bit sexist about that bit. Like, oh, it's a bit sexist. It's not sexist, to be clear. I don't hate men. I just hate one man. I can't tell which one he is. I'm constantly on edge. No, I can tell you apart. Some of my best dads are men. I can tell you apart. You're all individuals, I know. Right, Tom? Hey, there's your callback, mate. So that's it. That's me. That's it done.